Welcome back to The Lost Journeys Season 2. If you are new here, welcome. Check out the previous analysis of all the tracks done in Season 1. There will be spoilers for the rest of the show. Man of Science, Man of Faith, the season premiere, leaves us right where we left off. Well, technically it doesn't. By the time this episode begins, our characters are all back in the caves. Charlie and Saeed have arrived with the baby. Jack, Locke, Hurley and Kate are all trekking through the jungle on their way to the hatch. The newest edition of this video series is something I made this summer. This map of the Swan Station. In my opinion, the coolest station on the island. And the one we'll spend the most time in. We're beginning before the hatch explosion. Desmond's eye opens. The countdown has reached down to 4 minutes. He jumps out of the bunk bed, slides on his chair, types in the code, and then puts on the LP record on this Technics Quartz turntable SLQ3. During the opening montage, we see Desmond do a lot of things, but it seems like he does it in a span of like a minute or two, based on the music. Let me explain it. The show does something quite interesting. The song Make Your Own Kind of Music goes from diegetic to non-diegetic and then back to diegetic. Diegetic music is music that originates within the diegesis, the universe of the film or TV show. An example of this is when Jack and Sarah play Heart and Soul. Non-diegetic music is everything composed by Michael Giacchino. And sometimes we have some fun combinations, such as Shannon singing, which is diegetic, but then it slowly turns into a non-diegetic score by Michael Giacchino.
Sous la pluie, la mer qu'on voit danser, dans le golfe clair, pas des reflets changeants, la mer.
Since he doesn't exist on the island, and neither does his orchestra, it's all background soundtrack, non-diegetic. So at first Desmond puts on the record, he cleans the dishes, exercises a bit, we don't know for how long, takes a shower, puts on laundry, makes himself a smoothie. This could go on for like an hour. The song exists outside the universe now, because even though we go from one situation to another, the song plays at normal length. And then when he is about to inject himself with a shot, the dynamite blows up and then the music becomes diegetic again. Since we see it affect the LP record. The only annoying thing is that this shot is flipped. I remember being so annoyed by it. He puts on the Dharma jumpsuit, opens the armory, turns down the light, and sees through the mirror system that two people have now blown open the hatch door. At some point during the night, Vincent runs away from the caves. Jack thinks it would be futile to hide the survivors down the hatch as the ladder is broken. He and Hurley take the dynamite they didn't use. Hurley hides it somewhere close by. Shannon goes out to look for Vincent. Saeed follows her. They find the dog. Saeed runs after him. I've placed the location here. Suddenly, Shannon is alone and surrounded by whisperers. Going by the whispers transcripts, it's several whisperers. Some of them asks if she's 815. Someone mentions the Black Rock. Other than that, it's a few questions such as, do you see her? And is she coming? And other small sentences that doesn't give us much to chew on. I've placed the location here, the same place Hurley will see the cabin in the season 4 premiere. As if this place is a little bit haunted. I like the idea that the same location where the cabin will appear and then disappear is the same where Walt will appear and then disappear. Let's examine this moment a little bit. I'll talk about Walt in the next episode too, when we see him taken by the others, but now we have him simply standing in front of Shannon. This is first and foremost a horror moment, employing a lot of horror tropes, especially tied to Stanley Kubrick's The Shining, one of Damon Lindelof's favorite movies.
What are you going Nicholson on us? What? You know Jack Nicholson in The Shining when he's bouncing that ball against the wall? Next thing you know, you're gonna go after your wife with an axe.
Tony, why don't you want to go to the hotel? I don't know. You do too know. Now come on, tell me.
I can remember when I was a little boy, my grandmother and I could hold conversations entirely without ever opening our mouths. She called it shining. And for a long time, I thought it was just the two of us that had the shine to us. Just like you probably thought you was the only one. Has Tony ever told you anything about this place? About the Overlook Hotel? You know, some places are like people. Some shine and some don't. I guess you could say the Overlook Hotel here has something about it that's like shining.
In terms of music, the composer Giacchino is using a timpani that goes up and down in tones. This was used a lot in The Shining. It changes and creates this unpleasant feeling, and a lot of claves, also very prevalent in The Shining.
Walt?
Walt is speaking backwards, which creates a horror film mood. Reverse speech has had a connection with the occult, and glossolalia, speaking in tongues, has been a phenomenon for ages. Reverse speech was also quite popular with record players, with people finding demonic messages when playing certain songs backwards.
Chicago. I love this song.
I command you in the name of Lucifer to spread the blood of the innocent.
There's also the theory that it wasn't Walt, it was the Man in Black. If it was the Man in Black, it used the image of wet Walt, signifying to Shannon that the raft people were in the water, tricking Shannon out into the wilderness, and later causing her to walk right into the gunfire. Personally, I like the theory of Walt being able to project his image. I'll talk a little bit more about this in the next episode, Adrift. Back to the group. Jack and Hurley head together to the caves. Locke and Kate do the same thing. This is all shot in the same location, as confirmed on the audio commentary for this episode. Shannon and Sayid come back. The Black Rock expedition arrive at the caves. Locke finds the wire from the fuselage. Approximately 3 hours before sunrise, Jack tells the survivors they will be safe at the caves. They'll put people on the lookouts on all the entrances.
We're gonna stay here tonight, okay? Together. We've still got 4 guns. We'll put lookouts at all the entrances.
We don't know who will help out here, since Locke, Kate and Jack will be off at the hatch, but I'm guessing Sayid will guard one of the entrances. He's the best candidate. Locke goes to the hatch, Kate follows him. Desmond is still down there, keeping an eye out.
1, 2, 3, 4.
When he sees Kate getting pulled down, he turns on the light, grabs her, and knocks her out. Locke goes down there. Then the episode jumps a bit in time. Remember in my episode about Deus Ex Machina, we jumped from John Locke bringing Boone to the caves and then to the middle of the night banging on the hatch door, while the middle section was explored in the next episode, dealing with Boone's injuries and Claire's contractions. The events with Locke and Kate in the hatch will be revisited in the next episode. We are now with Jack, who leaves the caves and goes to the hatch. He lowers himself down there. He walks here, past the massive steel pipe. This is one of those mundane things we never see on the show, the Dharma Initiative installing plumbing and electricity on the island. The Swan Hatch has a shower, toilet and a kitchen, even uses water for the sink here and the washer. Jack sees the mural, the Season 2 bonus feature and the Lost video game, not that those two are the world's best sources, confirm that the painting is done by Desmond. Behind the scenes, it was Jack Bender, who knew a thing or two being an executive producer on the show, but still there's a lot of interpretative elements of it. Here's a full-scale version. You can see the following: a black man with eyes scratched out, who appears to be wearing a cassock or other item of clerical clothing, a Caucasian woman, yellow object and the sign I am sick, seen much clearer in this picture, sailing vessel, stick figure people, upside down, an arrow, the sun, numbers 108 and 42, 3 houses, waves, fish, moon and starry night, and a pair of wings or hands behind the man and woman. We all know that the characters have symbolic dreams with many foreshadowings towards the future events. Desmond could have painted it from a very vivid dream he had. Considering how important Desmond was in the grand scheme of things on the show, I think this could have been one of the most important symbolic dreams on the show, and we never saw it on screen. This is all a theory, of course, but my interpretation is this: the man and woman are Man in Black and Mother. It's not Jacob, since I think it's obvious that the dark figure is the Man in Black. Desmond could have seen a glimpse of the Man in Black as Yemi, especially with the priest's collar here. But also the scarred eye could reference it being Locke. If this is also part of the Man in Black, the I am sick fits in the same category, with the master's connection to the sickness. The white man here being upside down suggests Jacob's death, which happens during nighttime. The boat here is the raft with Michael, Jin and Sawyer. It seems like the boat is on fire too. The arrow is pointing to the direction to get out of the dome around the island, and the arrow is heading towards compass bearing 325, and at the left side of the arrow you can read out.
Do you know how to drive a boat?
Yeah, I can drive a boat.
Good. Then you're going to take this boat and follow a compass bearing of 325, and if you do that exactly, you and your son will find rescue.
The group of people could be any of the vast groups of people that have been on the island, such as the others. And this man over here, which is not highlighted in the same color, could be the leader. The sun with the 108 is obviously a reference to the timer, but I think it could be more than that. A reference to the lighthouse wheel seen in Season 6, and 108 being the degree Jacob wanted Hurley to turn to. After all, Desmond was coming to the island.
Tell me when it gets to 108 degrees.
The waves, fish and houses could even be a short glimpse into the afterlife, seen in Season 6 with the island being on the bottom of the ocean. So everything is a mix of events happening in the future with some glimpses to the ancient past. Back to the episode. Jack walked past the magnetic wall. The key around his neck is attracted to it. Desmond turns on the music and then turns around the spotlight so it faces the hallway instead of the shaft. I guess you can do that with the control panel. Jack is blended by the light. Finally, after being surprised by bright light and loud music, he enters what appears to be an underground geodesic dome. Kate is right above him, yelling for him, but he can't hear her. The machinery is noisier than usual, but I guess Desmond has simply turned up the volume. Locke speaks to Jack. Finally, the gunman steps out and Jack recognizes him. That's all for this week. Stay tuned for Adrift next week.